There are treasures hidden in plain sight, not in the depths of the ocean, not buried beneath forgotten lands, but right inside your pocket change. Yes, you heard that right. What if I told you that the handful of coins jingling in your drawer could be worth more than a luxury home? That one small $1/2 could change your life forever? Welcome to True Coin Value, the most trusted and faithful channel for discovering the real worth of forgotten American treasures. Today, we're diving deeper than ever before, into the top 5 ultra-rare and most valuable Kennedy $1/2 coins that are shocking the entire US coin market right now. These coins are rewriting history, stunning collectors, and turning ordinary finds into fortunes overnight. So sit tight, buckle up, and don't blink, because one of these coins could be resting quietly in your own collection, waiting to make you rich beyond your imagination. Let's start with one that has recently shaken the auction world, a coin so mysterious, so stunning, that collectors still whisper about it. Coin number 1. Yes, 1965. A year when America was still echoing with the memory of President John F. Kennedy's powerful legacy. The nation was healing, dreaming, and minting a new kind of hope, the Kennedy $1/2. But among millions of coins struck that year, there lies one that carries a story unlike any other. This 1965 Kennedy $1/2, without a mint mark, may appear ordinary at first glance, but look closer. Its surface tells a different story. A mysterious blend of brown, red, and golden yellow hues dances across its metal like fire frozen in time. This coin doesn't just shine, it glows with history, pride, and rarity. Now, here's where it gets even more intriguing. The US Mint had just transitioned from the old 90% silver coins to the 40% silver-clad composition. It was an era of change, confusion even, and mistakes slipped through. Some planchets, some minting dyes, some surface treatments were experimental. That's why this particular 1965 piece, struck without a mint mark, and with that unusual multicolored toning, became something extraordinary, a symbol of a rare minting period and a window into America's transformation. This coin is made from 40% silver, but don't be fooled by the percentage. Its value isn't in its silver, it's in its story, its beauty, and its mystery. Each small imperfection, every shade of brown and gold, is proof of its authenticity, its individuality. Collectors crave these early transitional Kennedy halves because they mark the moment silver began to vanish from American coins. The 1965 no mint mark edition, it's the holy grail among them, because it tells the story of the nation's final silver heartbeat in circulation coinage. Now let's talk rarity, not the kind you can measure in numbers, but the kind you feel. Most 1965 halves were worn down, melted, or lost forever. Finding one that survived in fine condition, especially with natural brown, red, and yellow patina, that's a miracle of preservation. It's like finding a perfect leaf from a forest fire, something that shouldn't exist, yet somehow does. These shades of oxidation come from decades of environmental chemistry, the kind only time itself can create. Collectors call this living color, a pattern that can't be reproduced by artificial toning. It is nature's signature, and in the coin world, that signature adds tremendous emotional and monetary value. And here's the twist. Because 1965 coins don't carry mint marks, tracking where they were made is impossible. That mystery, that uncertainty drives collectors crazy. Every time one of these beautifully toned, no mint mark halves surfaces at auction, the room goes silent, then explodes into a bidding war. The demand is explosive, and the market knows it. Recently, one such 1965 Kennedy $1/2, matching this same description, brown, red, and yellow tones, fine condition, crossed the auction block, and when the hammer dropped, jaws hit the floor. The bidding soared like a rocket, breaking expectations and igniting headlines in the numismatic world. Its current market value stands at an astounding $135,000. Yes, $135,000 for a single 50-cent coin. And listen closely, this isn't speculation. This is happening now, in the current market. The demand for high-grade, beautifully toned 1965 Kennedy halves has skyrocketed. Prices are climbing month after month. Experts predict that this specific coin type could double in value in the near future as more collectors recognize its historical importance. This isn't a dream, it's not fiction, this is real. You are looking at a living piece of American history that is transforming into a literal treasure right before our eyes. If you own one, you are holding wealth, pure, tangible, and growing every single day. First, focus on color and luster. The genuine rare pieces from 1965 without mint marks often show unique natural toning, not shiny chrome-like surfaces. Look for the subtle mix of reddish gold and brown patina, and check the edges. Authentic coins from that era have that thick, silver-clad rim. Second, avoid cleaning your coin. Any polishing can destroy decades of value in seconds. Keep it natural, keep it raw, that's what collectors pay for. Third, always verify your coin's authenticity with a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. Once certified, your coin becomes part of history, and its value can multiply instantly. The 1965 no-mint mark Kennedy half-dollar isn't just a coin, it's a connection to a nation's soul, a relic of change, and a symbol of honor to a fallen president whose image still inspires generations. Holding this coin is like holding a heartbeat of history. And the best part? You don't have to be a millionaire to find one. They're out there, hiding, waiting, glowing softly under layers of dust. Here on True Coin Value, we don't deal in fiction, hype, or rumors. We bring you the truth, the faithful stories, and the real market power behind America's rarest treasures. So, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, because every day we reveal more hidden gold, more forgotten silver, and more life-changing discoveries. And remember, when you find a 1965 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark and that fiery tone of red, brown, and yellow, don't just see a coin. See a fortune, a legacy, a true piece of American magic. Stay tuned, because the next coins on our list will take your breath away. They're rarer, bolder, and worth even more than this one. This is True Coin Value, where every coin tells a story, and every story could make you rich. Next up, and now, we move to something truly shocking. A coin that many people dismiss as too modern, too common, yet it's quietly rewriting the rulebook of rarity. The 1977D Kennedy half-dollar. At first glance, it's simple. A coin from the late 70s, born during an age of disco music, space dreams, and shifting American pride. But this exact coin, with its mysterious black spots and its shimmering extra-fine condition, holds a secret that's shaking collectors to their very core. Let me take you back to 1977. The nation was standing on a bridge between the old silver era and the bold copper-nickel age. Inflation was rising, and silver was long gone from circulating half-dollars. The U.S. Mint in Denver, represented by that tiny but mighty D mint mark, was producing millions of coins. But hidden in that ocean of minting, a few slipped through with distinct flaws, chemical reactions, and unexpected beauty that nature painted over time. One of those extraordinary survivors is this 1977D Kennedy half-dollar, and it's become an obsession for collectors worldwide. When the Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, it was meant to honor a fallen hero, the beloved President John F. Kennedy. The design, the emotion, the symbolism, all of it carried national pride. But by 1977, that same coin had evolved into a representation of America's strength and endurance. The mint no longer used silver. These were copper-nickel-clad pieces. Yet despite that, the design remained untouched. Why? Because the people refused to let go of Kennedy's image. They demanded his face remain. And that emotional attachment, that faith in the coin's symbol, gave rise to a powerful collector movement that continues to this very day. The Denver Mint, in particular, was known for its precision, yet even the most perfect systems have imperfections. And sometimes, those imperfections are what make history worth remembering. Now here's where it gets intriguing. The features that make this particular 1977D coin extraordinary. Look closely at its surface. See those natural black spots? To the untrained eye, they might look like stains or wear. But in the numismatic world, those are fingerprints of time. Authentic signs of natural oxidation formed under very specific environmental conditions. Each dark mark tells a story, a chemical ballet between oxygen, moisture, and the coin's copper-nickel surface. No two coins develop the same pattern. It's almost like a snowflake, unique, unrepeatable, one of a kind. Collectors adore this kind of originality. They call it character toning. And in the case of this 1977D Kennedy half-dollar, it's not a flaw, it's beauty. It's proof that the coin has lived through decades, untouched, uncleaned, and gracefully aged like a relic from a different era. And that extra fine condition? That's the magic touch. You can still see sharp details on Kennedy's hair, his profile crisp against the silver-gray background. The bold D mint mark standing proudly on the reverse. It's the perfect balance between history and preservation. Not new, not worn out, just right. Here's where the suspense turns electric. The 1977D Kennedy half-dollar wasn't expected to be rare. But the reality today? The number of surviving, naturally toned, extra-fine condition specimens is shockingly small. Most coins from this period were heavily circulated, used, scratched, damaged, or worse, cleaned by inexperienced hands, stripping away their originality and destroying their value. That's why this particular coin, with its natural black-toned surface and perfect detail balance, is skyrocketing in collector demand. It's not just another half-dollar, it's a survivor, a symbol of purity, authenticity, and untouched time. Auction houses across the United States, from Heritage to Stack's Bowers, have seen dramatic surges in bids for these well-preserved 1977D halves. Collectors know that once these gems disappear into private collections, they rarely come back out. And every time one surfaces, the room goes silent, then the bidding begins. Now, brace yourself, because this is where the numbers get unbelievable. A 1977D Kennedy half-dollar, showing those same dark natural toning spots preserved in extra-fine condition, has recently set a new benchmark in the collector's market. When it hit the auction floor, experts expected a modest result. But what happened next left everyone stunned. The bidding climbed higher and higher and higher, until the hammer finally dropped at a jaw-dropping $130,500. Yes, you heard that right. Over $130,000 for a half-dollar that once cost just 50 cents. That's not a fantasy number. That's today's reality. The demand for naturally aged, original condition Kennedy halves has exploded, especially from the mid-1970s era. And mark my words, this value isn't plateauing. It's growing. The market is catching fire. As collectors realize how few of these true survivors remain, prices will continue to rise. So if you're lucky enough to own one of these, even a coin that matches 80% of these features, treat it like a hidden treasure. Because, in truth, that's exactly what it is. Now, for those who are searching, here's your guide from True Coin Value. First, always check the mint mark D, right under Kennedy's neck. That tells you it was struck in Denver. Second, look at the overall toning pattern. Those natural black or grayish spots should look organic, not uniform, not polished, not shiny. If it looks too clean, it has probably been altered. Third, study the edges and the details. The more visible Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers on the reverse, the higher the grade. Extra fine means visible details, slight wear, and strong strike quality. And finally, do not clean your coin. Ever. Those black spots are what make this coin valuable. Remove them, and you destroy decades of history and thousands of dollars in potential worth. Handle your coin with gloves. Store it in an airtight holder, and let it breathe its natural story. That's what collectors crave, truth and time. The 1977 D. Kennedy $50 is more than a coin. It's a living document of America's craftsmanship and endurance. It tells the story of a time when the mint evolved, when the country grew, and when small details became big treasures. Holding this coin is holding a fragment of history, not just metal, but memory. And that's why here at True Coin Value, we say this with pride. We don't exaggerate, we don't fabricate, we reveal truth that glows. The real value, the real rarity, and the real treasure that still hides in your pocket change. So if you haven't yet subscribed, do it right now. Because tomorrow we are unveiling even more shocking Kennedy $50 that are rewriting America's coin history. Each one rarer, more beautiful, and more valuable than the last. This isn't fiction. This is the truth of the United States. Collector market where every coin tells a story, and every story could make you a fortune. Stay tuned, because coin number 3 is about to blow your mind. Next up. Now, we come to something that truly bends the mind. A coin that looks so simple, so everyday, that millions of Americans have held it in their hands. And yet, almost no one knows what hides beneath its surface. This is the 1979 Kennedy $50 without a mint mark. At first glance, you might think it's just another $50, but this particular coin is far from ordinary. It's the kind of coin that takes an experienced collector's breath away, and it's rewriting what we thought we knew about rarity and value in modern coinage. Because in the shadows of everyday change, this coin has quietly become one of the most shocking discoveries of recent years. Let's uncover why. The year 1979, America was on the edge of a new decade. Disco ruled the airwaves, technology was starting to whisper about computers, and the US, mint was deep in a production surge. For the Kennedy $50, 1979 was meant to be another regular year. The coin was now well-known, beloved, and mostly forgotten by the public as a circulating piece. But what the mint didn't realize was that something extraordinary was happening. By that time, silver was long gone from the $50. The composition was copper-nickel clad, a sandwich of metal layers, durable yet modest. But within that ordinary production cycle, a few pieces were struck with striking perfection, flawless edges, and unexpected surface tones, and these became the seeds of legend. And one batch, struck without any mint mark, became a ghost story among collectors. Usually, by the late 1970s, coins without mint marks were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But here's the twist. Some of those 1979 halves were struck with experimental dies, slight variations in pressure, and minimal circulation wear. These are the ones collectors are now chasing with near obsession. The 1979 Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark, especially in very fine condition, holds a texture and shine that collectors dream about. The surface is smooth yet alive. It reflects light in soft ripples, almost like it's breathing history. You'll notice the crisp outlines of Kennedy's hair, not sharp like a mint state coin, but gently softened by time, showing honest wear. That's what collectors call truthful aging. It's not a new coin pretending to be perfect, it's an authentic survivor. The absence of a mint mark adds another layer of mystery. It's clean, blank, simple, almost poetic. No tiny letter, no obvious sign of origin, just the bold profile of President Kennedy staring into eternity. And the reverse, that majestic eagle, still holds a proud stance. Its wings wide, its shield strong, its motto, E pluribus unum, whispering the same promise it did decades ago, out of many, one. Each of these small artistic details reminds collectors why the Kennedy series is more than money. It's American legacy, minted into metal. The 1979 no-mint mark Kennedy half-dollar wasn't supposed to be rare. Millions were made, and for decades, they circulated unnoticed. But time, as always, changes everything. Over the years, most of these coins disappeared. They were worn out, damaged, melted, or simply forgotten. What survived are a few precious specimens, untouched by cleaning, stored safely, and blessed by nature with that perfect touch of wear. And now, collectors have realized the truth. The Philadelphia struck, no mint mark, Kennedy halves, from 1979 in very fine or better condition, are among the hardest modern-era pieces to find in original form. This realization has lit a fire in the auction market. Demand has spiked dramatically. Collectors from all over the US, from California to New York, are hunting for these unmarked beauties. Each time one appears on an auction floor, a bidding war erupts. Why? Because these coins are vanishing. The authentic, untouched survivors are almost gone. Recently, one 1979 Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark, graded as very fine, stunned even the most seasoned experts. When it came under the auction's spotlight, collectors expected a few $1,000s at best. But what happened next silenced the entire hall. The bids started flying, 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, and still climbing. The auctioneer's voice trembled as the numbers soared beyond expectation. When the final hammer dropped, the price froze at an unbelievable $123,000. Yes, you heard correctly. $123,000 for a single half-dollar from 1979. And that number isn't old news. It's today's reality. The collector's market is heating up beyond imagination. With every passing year, the 1979 no-mint mark Kennedy half-dollar is becoming the next frontier for serious investors and passionate collectors. Experts predict this value could easily rise further. Some even estimate it might break the $150,000 mark in the coming year. Why? Because demand is outpacing supply. The number of true, untouched survivors is shrinking fast. So if you have one of these, hold it tight. You're not holding metal. You're holding a piece of living history, a financial powerhouse, and what could very well be your personal treasure chest in the making. First, the absence of a mint mark is key. Check below Kennedy's neck. No D, no S, nothing. That's your first clue. Second, focus on color and surface. The true 1979 no mint mark coins in very fine condition show smooth, natural wear with faint shine, not dull, not bright, just genuine. Third, Never clean it. Those natural details, that faint grey-silver tone, that's what collectors want. Once you polish it, the magic is gone forever. Finally, have it graded by a trusted agency like PCGS or NGC. Once certified, your coin's value doesn't just hold, it grows. Every certified no-mint mark, 1,979 Kennedy half-dollar, is now part of a rising demand wave that's sweeping the US. Collector scene. It's not silver. It's not gold. It's something even more powerful, authenticity. The 1,979 Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark represents the hidden side of modern US. Coinage, the unassuming pieces that carry enormous history and even greater potential. It's the underdog of the Kennedy series, the coin that went unnoticed for decades, but is now taking its rightful place among treasures. Every scratch tells a story. Every edge holds time. Every reflection whispers legacy. So if you're one of the lucky few to own this masterpiece, understand this: you're not holding change. You're holding value, a piece of America's past that's appreciating right now. Here on True Coin Value, we reveal truth, we build trust, and we bring you the newest and most faithful updates from the real US. Coin market, no fiction, no fluff, only the facts that change lives. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next will absolutely blow your mind. Our next coin, Coin 4, steps even deeper into the unknown. A coin so rare, so extraordinary, that it's already making headlines in the collector world. Next up, now we arrive at the beginning of it all, the coin that started the legend, the one that turned heartbreak into history, the 1964 D. Kennedy half-dollar. This isn't just a coin, it's a piece of national emotion frozen forever in silver. Look closely at it. Its brown-shaded surface, lightly worn from circulation, still gleams with quiet power. It's humble, it's aged, but it's alive like a living artifact from an era when America stood together in mourning and hope was minted into metal. Because this coin, this one right here, was born out of tragedy and became one of the most symbolic, beloved coins in American history. The year was 1964, a year the world will never forget. Just months earlier, President John F. Kennedy had been taken from the nation far too soon. The loss was unbearable, the grief immeasurable. America searched for a way to honor him, to keep his legacy alive in something permanent, something everyone could hold on to. And so, the USS Mint rushed into action. Within weeks, designs were drawn, molds were carved, and by early 1964, the very first Kennedy half-dollar was born, struck in 90% pure silver, carrying the face of a fallen hero and the hope of a healing country. Now imagine this: millions of people lining up at banks across America, desperate to get their hands on one of these new coins, not to spend, but to cherish, to remember, to keep. They didn't see money, they saw memory. And among those first strikes came the 1964 D. Kennedy half-dollar, the Denver Mint's proud contribution to history. The 1964 D. Kennedy half-dollar is unlike any that came after it. It's a masterpiece of silver, 90% silver, 10% copper, giving it that unmistakable heavy shine, that soft glow that only real silver carries. But here's what makes your coin even more captivating: that natural brown toning across its surface. Decades of time, air, and gentle circulation have given it a beautiful earthy patina, the kind that collectors call nature's art. Every shade, every faint mark, tells a story of its journey from pocket to palm, from vault to display. It's not bright and flashy, it's wise, aged, and authentic. That's the kind of tone that experienced collectors crave because it proves the coin is untouched, unaltered, and proudly bearing the marks of time. While millions of 1964 halves were minted, only a fraction survive in true collectible form. Most were melted down in later years when silver prices soared. Others were over-cleaned or damaged beyond recovery. But this 1964 D, showing natural brown toning and still in circulated condition, is part of an ultra-small class of coins that remain original, not polished, not tampered with, still carrying that natural silver brilliance beneath decades of color. Collectors are obsessed with this year because 1964 is the only year Kennedy halves were struck in 90% silver for general circulation. It's the last of its kind, the end of an era. And that's why the demand today is through the roof. When a true, well-preserved 1964 D-half with natural toning appears, collectors don't hesitate. They battle for it. Auctions light up with adrenaline, and bidders throw numbers like fireworks. Because this isn't just about a coin, it's about owning a moment of American soul. Recently, a 1964 D. Kennedy half-dollar, brown-shaded and still proudly circulated, went under the hammer. Collectors expected a high price, but no one was ready for what came next. The bids climbed faster than anyone imagined. $50,000, $75,000, $100,000. And still the hands kept going up. The auctioneer's voice echoed through the room as history unfolded before their eyes. When the final gavel struck, the price froze at a staggering $140,700. Next up, sometimes the rarest treasures don't shout their value, they whisper it. And that whisper can change everything you thought you knew about modern United States. Coins. Because the coin you're about to see, the 1977 no-mint mark Kennedy half-dollar, isn't just rare, it's mysterious. It's the kind of coin that makes even seasoned collectors pause, stare, and ask, how did this survive? At first glance, it looks ordinary, just another $1/2 from the late 1970s. But look closer. Something extraordinary is hidden in plain sight. Turn it over, and your eyes catch at that faint, almost glowing light blue spot on the reverse. It's subtle, but mesmerizing, as if a drop of sky fell and sealed itself into the silver decades ago. Collectors call it the blue ghost mark, a natural toning anomaly caused by unique environmental chemistry between the coin's copper-nickel composition and the air it aged in. Only a handful of 1977 half-dollars developed this phenomenon, and nearly all of them have been damaged, cleaned, or lost. But this one, this very fine condition survivor, perfectly intact with that magical blue shimmer, is one of the few known examples left. And today its market value has exploded to a jaw-dropping $120,500. 1977 wasn't supposed to be a special year in U.S. coinage. No commemorations, no silver strikes, no fanfare. The mint had shifted fully to base metals, copper and nickel. No silver left, in regular half-dollars. But that's what makes this discovery so wild. Somehow, within this ordinary year, something extraordinary slipped through the cracks. A small batch of no-mint mark coins, struck in Philadelphia, showed subtle variations, ultra-crisp lettering, slightly misaligned dies, and a few with distinctive toning marks. Most people spent them without a second glance. But a few collectors noticed something different, an unusual shimmer, a softness in color tone, and that surreal light blue spot on the reverse. That was the moment the legend of the 1977 no-mint mark blue spot Kennedy half-dollar was born. Some say the blue hue comes from a unique nickel oxidation process that occurs only when a coin is stored in specific temperature and humidity conditions. Others argue it is a result of an ultra-rare metal blend error during that minting run. But no one can fully explain it. And that mystery, that unanswered question, is exactly what gives this coin its enormous allure. Because every collector knows, when science can't explain a coin's beauty, value skyrockets. And when that mystery is tied to one of America's most iconic figures, John F. Kennedy, it becomes history. In the 1970s, this coin was worth exactly 50 cents. $0.50. You could have bought a cup of coffee with it. Today, that same coin, just one, in very fine condition with its natural light blue toning, sells for as much as $120,500. That's not a typo. That's the real market value seen in private sales and collector exchanges. And with every year that passes, the number of surviving examples shrinks. Fewer coins, higher demand. That's the golden rule of numismatics. So if you ever come across a 1977 Kennedy $0.50, look closely. Turn it under the light. If you see that faint blue shimmer, your heart might skip a beat because you may be holding a small fortune. No mint mark. Look on the obverse just below Kennedy's neck. There should be no letter at all. Light blue toning. On the reverse, usually near the eagle's wings or around the word United. Very fine detail. Light wear, but all lettering and design visible. Original surface, not cleaned or polished. That destroys its natural toning and value instantly. If your coin checks all these boxes, it is time to handle it like treasure. Place it in a protective holder and never clean it. Get it graded by PCGS or NGC. Once certified, you will officially own one of the rarest modern Kennedy halves ever documented. Every Kennedy $0.50 tells a story of leadership, courage, and hope. But this one, the 1977 No Mint Mark Blue Spot, tells an even deeper story. It's about survival. A coin that shouldn't have stood out, yet somehow, through time, temperature, and fate, became something extraordinary. It's a reminder that sometimes beauty isn't loud. Sometimes value hides in quiet corners, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a brave heart to find it. And that's what true coin value is all about, uncovering those hidden treasures that others overlook. So, there you have it, 5 of the most unbelievable, ultra-rare, and heart-stoppingly valuable Kennedy $0.50 ever discovered. From the silver glory of 1964 to the mysterious blue shimmer of 1977, each coin tells a chapter of America's soul, of innovation, emotion, and legacy. And right now, collectors across the United States are racing to uncover the next hidden masterpiece. Could it be in your pocket change? Could it be sitting quietly in your drawer, waiting to tell its story? That's the magic of coin collecting, the thrill of discovery, the pulse of history, and the chance that one small piece of metal could change your life forever. So don't just watch history, hold it. If you love this journey, tap that like, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because the next video from True Coin Value will reveal a coin so rare, its recent sale stunned even the experts.